to the legends, those who paved our way. In every single chapter, we're here to stay. Breaking down plays.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie. I'm in Arizona, and we're here with the veteran, Mr. Tony Robinson. He's in Texas. Happy Veterans Day, everybody, and everybody that's currently serving, or if you have served. But I want to say happy Veterans Day to my buddy Tony here. Thanks for serving, buddy, and thanks for being with me on this podcast.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yes, hey, we got a lot going on this week. This is week 11 and the NFL season that's kind of going pretty quickly now that we're in the month of November. There's a lot going on in the NFL so far, and a lot of good games this week that we're going to get to right now. And we're going to start off with week 10 before we start previewing next week's football games. And I mean, it's been a crazy NFL season. But I want to start off first, right, by talking to my team, right? I take accountability, just so you know, when my team is good and my team is bad, right? The Washington Commanders, that's what we're talking about right now. And the Washington Commanders have hit rock bottom. I mean, we've lost the last 4 games by 21 points. And I think it's very historic. No team has done that in 20 plus years. And, you know, watching my team play, I'm very disappointed. And really what I really think that has happened is that we were feeling ourselves off of last year's, NFC Championship game. We came back this year. We didn't put the time in. We didn't put the work in. That goes from the GMs all the way down to the players. And, you know, you have to realize in the NFL that things will catch up to you pretty quickly. Teams will adjust. Teams will play you different based off of your style. They've had a whole offseason to get prepared for you and the offense, the defense. And what we didn't get younger last year. We just rebooted with the same old players. We got old players coming in. We got 17 people on injured reserve that's lost 69 plus games, and they're all injured. Everybody we bringing in is injured. Jaden Daniels is injured, as you guys know. And the defense is atrocious. I mean, this is Dan Quinn's calling card. And the reason why we got Dan Quinn, because he's standing on his defense. If you are a defensive coach, then you need to be good on that side of the ball. You cannot not be good on that side of the ball when you're a defensive coach if you're Dan Quinn. So what Dan Quinn has done before he took off to Spain, okay, for the game against the upstart Miami Dolphins, right? He decided that he wanted to take over the defense. Dan Quinn has said, I'm going to take over the defense and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to, see if I can jumpstart the defense for the Commanders. But guess what, guys? I don't expect anything different. I don't expect anything different from Dan Quinn. And so with that being said, if we lose this week against Miami, which is a real high probability because we can't stop anybody's offense, then I think that, we need to not play Jaden Daniels the rest of the season. So that's all I got to say about the Washington Commanders. I don't want to give them any more airtime than they deserve, because when you win, you get all the airtime. When you lose, you get almost none. And the only reason they're getting some airtime tonight is because I'm still a Washington Redskins and Commanders fan. That's the only reason why they're getting any airtime tonight. So, Tony, I don't know if you got anything to say about this, but if you do, let's get with it.
Well, I think Dan Quinn will help the defense a little bit. I mean, like you said, y'all do have injuries, and like when you deal with injuries, it's hard to get everybody on the same page. You got guys just filling in that don't know where that person that used to be that's injured used to be, or so it's like a learning process of getting the continuity down and stuff like that. So Dan Quinn can help, but if you don't have the personnel, then it won't work. That's the only thing. So it could be Dan Quinn helping, but you can't say that he didn't do anything because it's the personnel that you have there. Because this is his first year, right? Or second year.
It's the second year.
Second year. So they kind of try to run it back, but they learned from that running it back that it didn't work. So they have to get younger and stuff like that and retool for next year. I think this year is like a learning experience for them. I think they'll be fine. And yes, do not put Daniels back in the game for the rest of the year, because
Yeah.
there's no point, you know.
Yeah, there's no point to doing it. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get him hurt, and there's gonna be a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So also, let's transition to something, a game that we all were kind of watching this week to see whether or not that this team was a contender or pretender, and that is the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots went into Tampa and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28-23. And we had been talking. We had Dan on our show a couple of weeks ago, who was a New England Patriots fan, and he basically said that he texted me during the game and said that he was glad that he was wrong, that New England actually beat them, because this is a game that Dan believed that the Patriots were going to lose, and it was a possibility that they were going to lose. And so, we all said one thing. We were kind of all united on one thing that the Patriots needed to do in order to win this football game. And, that was what? Give the ball to the TreVeyon Henderson. And when they did that, great things happened to them. 14 carries, 147 yards, including a 69-yard touchdown run. Was just totally amazing. He just totally went off on that good defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so, Tony, this is a really good game. I'm not quite sure if you had a chance to watch it all, but I'm going to start off asking you this question. Have you seen enough from the New England Patriots to say that they can go now deep into the playoffs now that they've got a couple of signature wins, once against Buffalo, and then they go in and beat up on the pretty good Tampa Bay team?
Whew. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like they have the pieces to do it. I mean, the defense is pretty stout. As long as the offense doesn't turn the ball over, as long as you can manage the game as long as the quarterback can manage the game, and then you got TreVeyon Henderson finally giving him some run. He had 14 carries for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, like I said last podcast, I feel like they need to get the running game going. And I don't know about bringing the other running back in. So if you keep the nucleus on how behind TreVeyon Henderson, I don't know why they were doing that at the beginning of the season, not running him as much. But now I feel like you have your running back. Like the other guy, he's injured a lot of the times, and he fumbles the ball from time to time and stuff like that. So now let's see what you got with TreVeyon Henderson. And I feel like if they run him as like not a bell cow, but make him their lead back, I feel like they have a chance from the offensive standpoint. From the defensive standpoint, they're solid. With the variable coaching style. I mean, he's always had a good defense, and they just usually take something away from the other team, and they figure it out from there. So yeah, I mean, but Baker had a good game. He had 3 touchdown passes. I mean, 273 yards. He played a solid game. It's just you can't win averaging 6 yards a pass. I mean, that's the hard part.
The Patriots defense got after him too. They wasn't gonna let him sit back there and just do whatever he wanted to do. They got after him. They put pressure on him. They got a number of sacks. I saw a good part of this game. And can the Patriots go deep into the playoffs? I mean, they got the defense, and they got Drake May, who is top 2 or 3 now in the MVP potential, right? And they're solid on all sides of the ball. I mean, they can travel. And what you have to worry about if your other teams is that you got to go to New England and play in that stadium with that crowd. And they haven't had this kind of momentum in about 6 or 7 years since Brady left, and they're just starving. And they're chomping at the bit in New England to see that this football team is very, very good. And they are a very, very good football team. But we can see now that coaching is everything, right? Mike Vrabel has come in there, and he has really stabilized that whole core. And he's got a lot of players there that believe in what they're doing. And with Drake May, as long as he can stay upright and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, I think that they have a chance to go at least second round playoffs. Not sure if they can go to the championship game, but we'll see how that all pans out, moving forward.
It depends on seeding too. It depends on how they finish. If they finish on top, they got a chance to get a bye in the first round, and they can take over the conference like they did when Brady was there.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we'll watch them now, but they're on everybody's radar. They're not a secret anymore. Not that they was a secret before, but it's amazing. So we're gonna move on to the Indianapolis Colts in Berlin against the Atlanta Falcons. They won. The Colts won this game 31-25. So the Colts get themselves back on track after a disappointing loss with Pittsburgh last week. And so now, we get a chance to see the Colts come back, and they kind of bounce back. And, it's just a crazy season, the way things are panning out, to see them winning overtime against a good Atlanta team overseas. And man, this guy, I'm going to tell you, I mean,
MVP.
it's just, who I'm about to say,
Yep.
right? It's just amazing to see this human right here. I don't know if he's human.
MVP. MVP.
Jonathan Taylor, right? 244 yards rushing, 42 receiving yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns, including the game-winning run in overtime. I mean, he was just spectacular here. And I can tell you right now, everybody's talking about Drake May. Everybody's talking about all these other candidates for league MVP. But Jonathan Taylor, to me, is still league MVP at this moment. But it's a quarterback league, and we'll talk about some alternatives if they don't pick Jonathan Taylor in a few minutes. But this guy right here, he is just an amazing talent. And what do you think about Jonathan Taylor in that game that the Colts won?
Man, it was close. The Falcons almost stole that one.
Yep.
And the Colts came out, and you got Daniel Jones, made some mistakes here and there, he was playing like a little bit of like Danny Dimes when he was in with the Giants.
Yep.
But like we said before, all you gotta do is get the ball to that number 28. He's 28.
Yep.
Yeah, 28. Just get the ball to 28 and move out of the way. Do not just give him the ball. He's the MVP. But you kind of don't want to run him into the ground though before the playoffs start. They got to figure something out with Daniel Jones, because I feel like at times they try to have Daniel Jones win it to boost his MVP stock or whatever, to try to get him in the conversation or whatever. But all they got to do is get the ball to number 28. And run through him, run through him. If you run through him and take the pressure off Daniel Jones, I feel like that's the nucleus for winning for them.
Yes.
There's some games where he's going to have to step up, but you can't continue to try to run, take Daniel Jones back to his old self, because the more times you throw the ball, it's more times he going to throw an interception, and unless you're just going against a sorry team. But yeah, just get a ball to 28 is all I got to say about that.
Yeah, it's amazing what he's done. And so that was a really good game too. And the other good game too, Matthew Stafford had a big day. The Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford threw for 4 touchdown passes to lead his team to a 42-26 victory over the San Francisco 49ers. This was a big NFC West matchup. And Matthew Stafford, he totally went off in this game. And it was insane just to see him, what he's doing out there. And if you can see it scrolling down, a quick stat about Matthew Stafford: he has 25 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions for the season. And he's got 20 touchdown passes with 0 interceptions over the last 6 games. And so, he's just been playing out of this world ball. They have a big battle with the Seahawks this week coming up. But, everybody's talking about, Drake May, and they're talking about Jonathan Taylor. But if this is truly a quarterback MVP, if they really only want quarterbacks, and I gotta take quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford is now on my radar, and he's been in the cut for a while, and everybody's saying, Drake made this, Drake made that, but Drake May ain't playing better than this dude right here. And so my question to you, Tony, would be: has Matthew Stafford jumped ahead of all the MVP candidates out there so far? And do you think that if the season was to end today without seeing anything with the playoffs or anything going on, do you think Matthew Stafford should win this over Drake May?
When it comes to the quarterback play, I would have to say yes. But like we just said, we just talked about a guy that's pretty much has a team on his back, in Jonathan Taylor. So, but we talked about this earlier about it's being a quarterback kind of driven trophy or award that they give out to the MVP and stuff like that. Usually goes to the quarterback. But in this situation, I feel like you got to have it can't be the quarterback every time. So I would say no. If you're incorporating everybody that's in the race, they could be in the race, running backs, receivers, whatever. I would say Jonathan Taylor is still my number one, but for quarterbacks, he would be my number one because he's actually Matthew Stafford has been playing under the radar this whole time. Like nobody's even said the Rams were going to be like this right now. They look like the Super Bowl winning Rams the year that they won a Super Bowl. That's how they're looking right now. With Puka coming back, I think Puka kind of changed the game when he came back from the ankle injury that he had, and then you have all the other players that you have there, Devontae Adams and stuff like that, because they threw 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers and 4 different receivers actually, 2 tight ends, and Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams had a touchdown. So those guys, and then you couple that with Kyron Williams with 2 touchdowns. They look dominant right now. As long as the defense can stay steady, I feel like they got a chance to repeat or go back to the Super Bowl. So,
yeah, and you know what? You're right. I think, man, boy, that Seattle game this week is going to be awesome. We'll talk about that in a few moments here. Also, I got to give a little credit. The next game I'm going to talk about, Chicago Bears at the New York Giants, and the Bears came back in the fourth quarter and, scored like 14 to 15 unanswered points to win this game. And I didn't think that they were going to be able to do it. But they got a man over there at quarterback. All right. Now he's starting to prove that the Bears win this game 24-20, by the way. But the man is starting to prove now that, hey, why he was the number 1 pick overall. And he's starting to play the way that people thought that he could play. Right. Mm-hmm. And, I gotta give him credit, man. I gotta give this guy right here I gotta give him some love, man. Right. I gotta give this cat some love. Caleb Williams. Okay. Caleb Williams has his team in the mix right now. They would be a 6th seed if the playoffs was to start today. They're 2nd in the North behind the Detroit Lions. Right. Mm-hmm. And they're playing good football. And I got to say, man, Chicago Bears going to get some love from me because, Chicago Bears have been playing really good. And I like the fact that, he's playing really good football right now. And boy, I mean, there's so much that I could say about Caleb Williams. I mean, all the adversity that Caleb Williams went through last season, and Caleb Williams, had like 3 coaches that's calling plays for him. And then all of a sudden, he lobbies for Ben Johnson, all right, during the offseason. And then they go to get Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson was tough on him all during camp. And look at what it is now. I think Ben Johnson has some special sauce over there right now going. And so we'll see how the Chicago Bears will fare on the rest of the way. Tony, I know you got something to say about this.
I got some receipts. If you go back to the first week or first week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever time I said it, I've been saying the Ben Johnson offense is going to change him. I've been watching him like, now he's starting to run the ball where it's like getting dangerous now. He's actually faster than I thought he was.
He looks weird out there trying to run. He looks like Rerun trying to run the ball. But he's got some quicks though.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been saying. I mean, I could see. I mean, I played quarterback, so I kind of have an eye for the quarterback position. Even though I didn't play at a high level, I could still see it. And with this offense of old Detroit Lions. It ran the same offense. So the way I thought about it is like, okay, all he needs is just to get a couple of weeks under his belt to like actually because he's still learning the offense, like because you have to like learn the offense and then implement it to actually for it to sink in, right? So seeing it against other players, other teams that don't know your offense, because the defense that's on your same team know what you're doing, but seeing it in the game is like, okay, yeah, this is actually working, against other people and stuff like that. But like you said, it's a league where you got coaches that are getting paid for this on the defensive side. So I haven't seen, them slow down. I haven't seen any teams really slow them down as much per se. I mean, they have slowed them down. They don't dominate games because it's like they're up here.
Yeah,
it's like so many different levels. They're not at the pinnacle, and they're not at the bare bones, bare bottom, but they're like right there. They're hovering in the middle. Like they're right. They can be great, and then sometimes they can be low. But I feel like they got a good shot.
4 comeback wins this year, I believe. They got 4 wins that they had to come back to win. They kind of remind me about like the Commanders last year because everything was going for us, and we always say after they beat the Commanders, this year, they've gone on a winning streak, and the Commanders have lost 5 straight. It was the same opposite of the way things were last year. That game was a pivotal game. Once they got their sweet revenge on the Commanders, the Bears now went on a 5-game winning streak, and now they look like they have the possibility of, they're in the playoffs now, but they still have, 7 or 8 games left. But, we'll see how it pans out. But you got it. They come out, they're up and down. I just want them to get a little bit more stability. They got a tough divisional schedule. They got the Minnesota Vikings coming up this week in Minnesota. That's going to be a good game, a good test for them to see if they can win that division game and stay on top. But yeah, it's going to be a fight now. We're coming around the final lap now for the playoffs.
I think it'll come in due time. I mean, it just got to get more. This is Ben Johnson's first year with him, so it's like once they get more years, it can spiral into like better, a better future for the Bears. I mean, we haven't seen the Bears this good in a long time since Urlacher days, right? So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen them, good at all, right? And so we'll hold our breath a little bit.
It's not like I can talk anyway, with this.
No. I mean, hey, we all are kind of doing this podcast with a heavy heart because our teams are nowhere in. We're at the race to the bottom with the Commanders and the Browns, and I'm really don't care. I really want the position for the draft. And so when you start talking about draft and your team's in draft position with 8 weeks left in the season, your team's pretty bad, and we are pretty bad. And so now we segue to the Cleveland Browns. Oh no, the Browns lost to the Jets, Tony. What now? What now, my friend? Because we talked about this last week that if they lost to the Jets, that this would be at a bad situation right now. So what do you say about this?
So I've been saying this for like the last few weeks or whatever. I feel like because they are losing to a team that's obviously tanking, they had a fire sale, getting rid of their top defensive players and stuff like that.
The Jets, you mean?
The Jets, yeah.
Okay,
the Jets. I'm telling about the Jets. Like they had a fire sale. Like for them to come out and lose to a team that's tanking, that's obviously tanking in my eyes. I mean, I'm not. Who am I? But
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, you get rid of your top defense, your defensive tackle, and Sauce Gardner. Like it's like, come on, you're tanking. So for a team that's trying to they say they're trying to get better and win and stuff like that, but I feel like we're tanking too. They're just not coming out thin. So when you say every single time after the game is over, it's Kevin Stefanski, you're gonna keep saying like, oh, we got to get better. But then in the same breath, you're gonna say, I'm gonna look at all ways to make us look better or get better or whatever. But then in the same breath, when they ask you about Shedeur Sanders, you're gonna say, oh, we're not thinking about that right now. Like, okay, then how are you trying to get better? Like if you're really trying to win, just think about this. If you're trying to win in this league, and you're not, your job isn't safe. It seemed like his job is safe. That's why he's doing this. But anyway, um, you gotta see what you have in another quarterback. You already see what you got with Dylan Gabriel.
Right.
So and everybody else is getting frustrated because you're throwing passes and you're missing. This game he was missing wide open passes, throwing the short passes he's missing. Like he's missing long passes. He had a couple touchdowns that were there that looked pretty good, and I was like, oh, that looks solid. But you can't miss the 5 yard dinks that you were making before. Now you're throwing the ball on the ground and you're overthrowing them. It's like, are we really trying to win? Or are we trying to just, I don't know what it is. It doesn't make sense. Like our defense is playing solid still. It's just our special teams gave up two kick return and punt return. And that's the reason why we lost. Like if that 14 points doesn't happen, we win the game. But it seems like they just olayed and let this dude just cut through. And it was like these guys are tanking. Like there's no way you can lose to the Jets. There's no way. Like I don't care what nobody say. We have the team to beat the Jets, and we didn't beat the Jets. When you have a quarterback that only threw for 54 yards, threw 11 times.
Crazy.
We lose. That's crazy.
I felt sorry for you. I mean, I felt sorry for my team too, but man, I felt sorry for the Jets. I mean, I felt sorry for the Browns because I know how passionate you are about them, and they still haven't fixed their quarterback issue. And they got 2 draft picks next season. And then Deshaun Watson they opened up his window to come back too. So now does this put Shedeur Sanders now again on the back burner from getting his playing time this year potentially so they can see what he has because Deshaun Watson possibly might come back in and take up all those rest of the games of the year?
I mean, like we talked about earlier, I mean, I feel like I don't know what the actual stipulation is when it comes to his playing him to get the insurance money. I don't know if that's a thing or it's just speculation or whatever, but I don't think they wanted. I don't think they'll play him. I mean, I would
over Shedeur. You mean over Shedeur?
I feel like you have to see what you have in Shedeur because I don't feel like Watson is our future unless anybody knows something I don't know, because I don't feel like Watson is our future anymore because he just stole money. Stealing money.
He did.
There's a guy that I follow on TikTok. He's like stealing money. So but he's talking about college side. But this dude was stole some money. Like I don't know. I mean, I can't see them not giving Shedeur the opportunity to see what we have in him because we have those draft picks that we were talking about earlier. We have 2 number 1 picks or 2 first round picks, and then we're trying to tank to get another first round pick. So it's like.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see what you have in Shedeur because if we have something in Shedeur, we can build around Shedeur.
Yes.
If you think about it, that's the way I look at it. Like you have to play him starting probably either this week or next the week when we play the Raiders. That's when it has to start because that's when both of them have the equal games played. Dylan Gabriel. So if you gotta transition now. You have to see what he has. So
so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute, and we'll preview Week 11 on the Chasing the Highlights podcast. Good evening and welcome back to the Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie Washington. I'm in Arizona and we're here with Tony Robinson. He is in Texas. And Tony, before we left, we were talking about the Cleveland Browns. And do you have anything else to want to finish that up, or you're done with them?
Yeah, I mean it's just stressful when you talk about a team that you love, and like I've been a fan for 45 years, so it's like when you born into it pretty much. I'm 45,
Yeah.
so I'm born into it. I had a Cleveland Browns onesie when I was born, just put on me and stuff like that with a football in my hand. So I started playing football at 3 or 4 years old in Ohio because it's a football state. So, but when you just because your team is your team, so it's like it's just hard to see when. That's why I created that GM, that AI GM thing on YouTube that pretty much went viral and stuff like that, because I'm trying to like that. I created that because I wanted to show people how I would do the GM, how I would be talking and stuff like that, like getting these dudes out of here, like firing. It's funny how I created that. So yeah, but I have nothing else to say. I mean, you can talk about your team.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I don't need to talk about my team. They ain't getting no more airtime from me until they start winning again. And so until that happens, that's not going to happen. So, hey, we are at week 11, everybody, and things are heating up. We got a big Sunday night football matchup. We got the Detroit Lions at the Philadelphia Eagles. This game pits two NFC contenders against one another. The Eagles are the reigning Super Bowl champions, as everybody know, and we are looking to maintain their spot in a highly competitive NFC playoff race. The Lions, meanwhile, are coming off a significant victory and aim to prove themselves to be an elite team again. They got their mojo back against the Washington Commanders, scoring over 40 points, and after losing to the Minnesota Vikings the week before. And this is going to be a great Sunday night game. And I like the NFL. They got really good games on Sunday night this week. And I'm not quite sure. The Detroit Lions are going to go in to play Philadelphia Eagles, who barely won last night on Monday Night Football, 10-7 in Lambeau Field. And just, the Green Bay Packers got problems. Okay, the Green Bay Packers has some serious problems that I can see on offense without their tight end and some injuries at wide receiver. And they had a chance many times to win this game against Philadelphia, but Philadelphia somehow, once you start winning and you win a Super Bowl and you have Jalen Hurts, who just knows how to win, you got a really good coaching staff there, you got a really good defense there. They started blitzing Love, and they got him to make some mistakes and throw some incomplete passes down the stretch. And now you've got the Detroit Lions going in there, and this could just very well be a playoff matchup, right? This could be definitely a playoff matchup. And so I think that Detroit Lions are going to play a heck of a game this week. And I think that they have a big time chance to go in there and beat the Eagles. I'm picking the Lions in this game. And I'm going to hear a lot from the Eagles fans, but I think the Detroit Lions, man, they have a lot of weapons. They got more weapons than they have over there in Green Bay. But the Lions can put points on the board. They can play good, solid defense. And, man, I just don't know what's up really with the Philly offense. I do know Green Bay has a good defense, but to only put up 10 points against them and they didn't really look good, it was kind of a defensive matchup. I think the Lions can go and beat the Eagles. What do you think, Tony?
I'm gonna go the other way. Only reason why, because you got Detroit come out of the dome. They playing in Philly.
It's gonna be cold.
The elements and stuff like that, and I feel like the Eagles just need to run the ball because they need to run like down there, like Saquon. They need to figure out what's going on with Saquon, and
it's crazy.
And they need to figure something out and work that. The passing game started, clicking. You got Skinny Batman was doing his thing.
He's been doing this thing.
So, but it's like you got to figure out a way to get everybody involved. Like, I don't know what it is, but they said they're going to run the ball, especially right now. This is when it gets cold. This is when they start running the ball a lot more. They take the air out of the ball. So they need to figure out what that it is, I feel like you got to attack them with the running game. And I got Philly because they're at home and Detroit's coming out of
Offensive line's kind of banged up too. Lane went out that game a couple times yesterday, and
yeah,
without him, man, without Lane for the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles, they could be in some serious trouble. So we don't know if he's going to play, but he came back in the game yesterday with a bad ankle. So
yeah.
let's see how that kind of pans out too. And Detroit Lions defense pretty solid with Hutchinson on the other end too.
We'll see on the road. We'll see
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they
we'll see.
travel. If they travel in that cold weather, and you ain't in that plush dome. I mean, we'll see what happens.
We always say that, right?
Yeah.
Also we got the Chiefs at the Broncos, following a week 10 defeat. The Chiefs no longer the Chiefs will be eager to bounce back. They're facing a divisional challenge against the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos are hot. They've won like 7 or 8 straight. This matchup would be a pivotal moment for for Bo Nix to prove that he can compete against the top tier teams. And if the playoffs was to start today, guess who would not be in the playoffs? The Kansas City Chiefs, because of that loss the week, not last week, but the week after that, before they went on the bye week. And so now, they're going to the Broncos to play the Broncos, and this is a game that they really need to win. They're already 2 games back of the Broncos, and if they can't win this game, they might be not only might not win the division, but they might not make the playoffs at all. Because now they'll be 5-5. Right, if they lose this game against the Broncos, they need to find any way that they can do to get to 6-4. With the anemic offense, and I say anemic offense for the Broncos because they don't really score a lot of points, right? And they're kind of up and down. And for a Peyton team to kind of be like they are on offense, but their defense is so good. But Kansas City coming off a bye with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and everybody healthy, I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs to go in there and get a win this week. What do you think, Tony?
I'm with you on that one. I got the Chiefs winning that. I mean, Vegas knows something, that you got -3.5 for the Chiefs going on the road to Denver. They know something we don't.
Yeah.
Everybody else don't know. So I mean, and they got a 60% chance of winning. I gotta go with my homeboy, because they coming off a bye, like you said. And just that offense for the Denver. I have Bo Nix in my fantasy team, and like he just lets me down every week. He's just up and down. Like that offense is just not potent like I thought it would be coming into the season. But the defense is playing well. But I just feel like the Chiefs got their backs against the wall. They want to make the playoffs, obviously. And I feel like this is the statement game they have to make. They have to put the Broncos back in their place in a divisional game. They got to take over.
The Chargers are coming on too, man. This division is so good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. They have to take over their number 1 spot. So they're gonna bust them in the mouth, and I feel like the Chiefs got this game.
Oh, okay. So you're going with the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that we've been looking at this next game coming up, and boy, for the last couple of weeks, couldn't wait to see this game. Seattle Seahawks at the LA Rams. With both teams holding the identical records at 7-2 entering week 11, this matchup could determine the NFC West lead. The Rams are coming off an impressive divisional win over the 49ers and will look to continue their momentum. And boy, the good thing about this game, Tony, is that the Seahawks are traveling to the Rams, or maybe it's not a good thing, because the Seattle Seahawks since last season has been the best road team in the NFL. I mean, they travel well, so they can go anywhere, any place, anytime, and beat you on the road. And with Smith and Jigma and Darnold, and they have that defense, man, and they just put it on the Arizona Cardinals last week. They didn't even let them breathe. They suffocated them. And it was bad. And the Seattle Seahawks are for real. And if they can go in and beat the Rams, boy, that'd be huge. That'd be a huge win for them.
Yeah, I like the Seattle because back in the day I did body doubles and stuff for KJ Wright and stuff like that for some commercial stuff. So I have a little soft spot for Seattle.
Gave me the photo, man. I
for
everybody to see.
I'll send it for next time. But yeah, I have a soft spot for the Seattle Seahawks and stuff like that. But what it's going to come down to is going to come down to Sam Darnold, because you see how quarterback for the Rams is playing, and you have Sam Darnold, right? So looking at how Rams quarterback is playing, and Darnold is this, he can kind of mess up sometimes. So Sam Darnold has to stay focused, and he can't make any turnovers. If he makes a turnover, is going to go into the Rams' favor, and I feel like he can't turn the ball over. He has to take care of the ball, do what he's been doing all this time on the road, and just managing the game properly, lean on the run game, stuff like that. But if he starts doing too much they get into like a shootout, I feel like the Rams got the edge there a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
And, the Rams are playing home, and it will be a home crowd advantage. Seahawks, if you let them, they will come and take over your home. Seahawks fans travel very well, and it's not that far, to travel from Seattle to LA. So LA fans, I'm going to warn you, don't sell your tickets. Don't sell your tickets to any Seattle fans, because they will take over your stadium. I'm just letting you know. I mean, I saw them travel to Washington and took over our stadium last week in the blowout win, and I mean, the crowd noise was crazy. I'm like, man, are we at home or are we away?
The 12th man.
Yeah, when they're winning, those fans are some of the best fans in the NFL, and they do travel well. It doesn't necessarily have to be in Seattle, but they do travel very, very well. And so I'm going to switch it up a little bit here. And do you have more confidence in the Colts or the Patriots if the playoffs was to start today?
Whew.
That is the big question that I think that, and it's a tough question too. Boy, if the playoffs was to start today, who do you have more confidence? I'll put up the seeding right now. If the playoffs was to start today, who do you have more confidence in? You would have the number one seed, the Colts are the number one seed, and Buffalo would be going to New England. And wow. So that means that they would have to travel to New England twice and play them 3 times this year. And it's tough to beat a team 3 times. And so looking at that seeding with the Colts having the bye week, and the Patriots have to play Buffalo again, 3rd time. Tony, what do you think about that one?
I feel like the way Buffalo's been playing lately, I can't trust them right now. So I would say the Patriots got a shot to in this current seeding that you have here. I feel like the Patriots could knock off the Buffalo Bills because they've been playing a little suspect. The MVP is not playing like an MVP to me right now. And then the run game is not doing what it's supposed to be doing either. Because I have the running back in my fantasy league too. So, but he's letting me down, and it's like constant week to week. Like they're not doing well. So I feel like I have more confidence in the Colts according to this current seeding. Or actually both. Actually, I like both actually, because I feel like the Buffalo Bills can't beat the Patriots on the road right now because they can't even stop the run right now. They're getting thrashed. I mean, they stopped the pass, but the Patriots can run the ball if they put their minds to it. So
are you telling me that you don't believe just the experience of Josh Allen, the experienced coaching staff in the playoffs can go and beat a team that has not been in the playoffs with this group of players, the New England Patriots, and assuming that if it started today, they would have paid 3 times. This would be the 3rd meeting between them because they're divisional rivals. I would say I have more confidence looking at this seeding in the Colts because they would be the number 1 seed, and they would just watch these other 6 teams, slash themselves up and just kill themselves. But I think that I can see Buffalo going into New England and beating New England just because of their pedigree and just that their experience and Josh Allen and the things that he can do when he puts his cape on. I definitely think that Buffalo can go in and beat New England because New England is a young team, and it's harder for a young team to win in the playoffs than a more experienced team. And I trust Josh Allen more, even though that you've seen a lot during the regular season in Drake May. Playoff football is a little bit different. It's a lot different than playing the regular season, and I think that the Buffalo Bills could actually beat the Patriots in the playoffs. So I would say I trust the Colts only because of the seeding, and then the matchup with the Patriots, I think Buffalo can beat them.
But I think the Patriots, because the Kansas City Chiefs is not in that seeding, I feel like the Patriots will be the favorite if they beat Buffalo. So I feel like they'll come in with a different mindset to knock them off at home. And just watching the last few games, they've been getting torched in the run game. Their defense is not stopping the run. So,
but you got to figure they're going to figure this out, right? They got to figure this out at some point, right? If they get into the playoffs,
but you're saying if it started today, that's why I'm going off of today, based on like what I've seen over the last 2 weeks. If it started today, they getting thrashed right now. So it's like I can't. So I see both. I could see, Coast will have a bye on there, but at the same time, that a lot of times with teams getting a bye, they get rusty. So it's kind of hard,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see what would happen. I mean, it's man, I tell you, that's a tough one right there to talk about because we're assuming a lot of different things there. But looking at that seeding, I would say I trust the Colts only because I think Buffalo can go in and beat the Patriots. I'm going to put this out there because the Bears at the Vikings. The Bears is coming off an impressive win at home in the snow, by the way. Yeah, it was snowing last week against the Giants. I saw snow flurries coming down, and I'm glad. I think, goodness, 15 years ago, I moved from New England to Arizona, so I don't have to see snow anymore unless I want to go to Flagstaff, 3-hour drive north. But I don't want to see snow. I've never even been up there in 15 years.
You're not a Patriots fan?
No, man, I'm not a Patriots fan. Never been a Patriots fan. Never been a Patriots fan. And, but it is what it is, right? But the Bears and the Vikings at the Vikings, I mean, the Vikings lost to, the Ravens and, McCarthy, he still looks a little shaky at quarterback. But this is a big game, make no mistake about it, because if the Vikings can beat the Bears and they can get back up to that number 2 spot in the North, Caleb Williams going on the road, playing against a good Vikings defense in a divisional game. I'm not quite sure, and I believe the Vikings already beat them already earlier this season when McCarthy had a comeback win. It was an ugly game, but McCarthy had a comeback win against the Bears. And man, Bears at Vikings, I'm not even quite sure what the line is on this, but I kind of like the Vikings in this game, right? I think that even though that the Bears have won like 5 straight games, I think it comes to an end this week. I can see the Vikings doing a lot of different things to the Bears on defense, making Caleb Williams make a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes, and assuming that that the McCarthy can get it going again. We'll see. But I do like the Vikings in this game at home.
So to answer your question, the line is the open line for the Vikings right now, -2.5. That's the line for right now, currently right now, and they have the Vikings winning. It's like a 50% chance, 50.3 chance they can win. So it's really close. But I feel like McCarthy would be okay, only because of that coach, right? So I saw like a side-by-side like thing showing how Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, where they started at, the Jets, and then you got the Giants, and then you saw them make their way to Minnesota and get wherever it is that the coach has there.
Yep, the quarterback.
He's like the whisperer, like you've been saying the last last few times you talked about it. And look what they're doing now. So I feel like it just takes a little time. McCarthy just has to get into his groove again because he was out with the injury. And I feel like as long as he has that team behind him, the teammates love him. They love his pedigree and like how he comes in and leads the team and stuff like that. That's why does he have the C on his chest too?
Yes, he does.
So as a rookie, I mean, as a second-year player, but this is his rookie year to me. But I feel like they're getting behind him because of what his pedigree is. So I think he'll be fine. But I don't know if they can beat the Bears on here though. I don't know. It's gonna be kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, Man, it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
I
Rivalry game too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game, so we'll have to see how that pans out. Um, so my friend, I have to ask you about this game here, and it's always a good game, right? It's always a good game.
Yeah.
The Ravens at the Browns, and it seemed like the Browns do have the Ravens number. With all the things going on, and even though they lost against the Jets, the Ravens got to travel to a cold Cleveland Browns stadium to play the Browns. Now, I think that the Ravens cannot afford to lose this game. I think if you're a Ravens fan, you've circled this game as and assumed that you can win this game and catch the Pittsburgh Steelers down the road when you play them, because Pittsburgh is, basically leaving the division open right now. But the Cleveland Browns, this is your role right now. You can play spoiler in the North, the AFC North. You can play the spoiler and you can derail the Ravens from, they've won 3 straight. So looking at this team and looking at this game, do you think that the Browns have it in them? Because you said that the Browns were tanking, right? So when you say that they're tanking, are they going to tank in this game, or are they going to get up and play like they're supposed to play and give the Ravens all they can handle?
So I haven't done this in a while, and I'm not going to do it for this game either. I feel like they are tanking, so I mean, we do try to play our division rivals pretty close, but the way Dylan Gabriel's playing, the way that the Ravens defense, they got Roquan Smith back. Once he came back, that defense went back to how it used to be a little bit with stopping the run and stuff like that. And I feel like we don't have a chance. I mean, with the current quarterback, I feel
even
like
with your defense, though, your defense is still playing good ball.
Well, if the defense, I mean, we get
this could be a low-scoring game.
We have some injuries too. They keep nagging injuries for our rookie linebacker. He has an ankle injury that he's playing through because that's the kind of players these rookies are that we have. They're like next level rookies and stuff like that. I feel like. But it's just nagging injuries. So, when you playing against a guy like Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, stuff like that, it's kind of hard to say you're just gonna go out and beat them, because how we've been playing on offense, there's no way we could. I can't see it. I'm a Browns fan.
Right.
I would never say anything bad or like negative about my team. But in this situation where we're in right now with Stefanski constantly playing Dylan Gabriel, I can't see us winning the game.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But I still think that, every game in the NFL is winnable. And especially these division games are crazy. These division games are real crazy. And even it doesn't matter what anybody's records are in these divisional games. And so, I'm not going to take the Browns, because if you ain't going to take the Browns, I'm definitely not going to take the Browns. So I'm picking the Ravens, and I think the Ravens are right on the heels of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so you're right. I'm not going to pick them either.
This year,
you didn't pick them. I'm not going to pick them.
This year I can't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And we do have another game. It is the Miami Dolphins are playing the Washington Commanders in Madrid, Spain. The Dolphins are coming off a surprising Week 10 upset and will look to carry on that success overseas. And that's going to be a game that I'm going to go against my own team in that game. I mean, obviously, it pains me to talk about my team losing to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins is not really a good team. I mean, but they mustered up enough to beat up on the divisional. And I don't know if this just because it was a divisional game and they're familiar with the opponent, and that's why they beat the Buffalo Bills last week. But the Commanders have not showed me nothing in this 5-game losing skid that they can stop anybody. Okay, and the way the Dolphins, the way Achane is running the ball with I mean, he had almost 170 yards rushing last week or something crazy last week against the Buffalo Bills. Our defense and our defense on the rushing side is worse than the Buffalo Bills. Okay, so I think he's going to have another big game, and as long as they can keep Tua upright, because we don't have a pass rush, And we know the Commanders have lost. Trayvon Burks has played with the Commanders. He had 3 catches for 58 yards last week. And, he's a rookie, former number 1 draft pick that we thought that we found a diamond in the rough. And I think we may have. But guess what? He didn't even travel with the team this week. He got like a broken finger. He had surgery on his finger yesterday. He's not even in Spain. So that's another receiver that we don't have as a weapon. And so Robbie Chosen, okay? Come on, the former name, Robbie Anderson. Is that what we're going to take to Spain to win? And then you got Dan Quinn now taking over the duties of calling defense now because Joe Witt has been relegated to just one of the coaches that's helping out Dan Quinn. Okay, so Dan Quinn has said, you know what, man, I'm taking over this play calling, and let's see if we can go to Spain and beat the Miami Dolphins and get to the bye week. And then at the bye week, we can reevaluate Jaden Daniels to see if we want to put him back in after his dislocated elbow. So that gives him another week or so. Jaden Daniels is not making the trip over there. Deron Payne is suspended by the league for throwing a punch to Amon St. Brown. He threw a punch in the Lions game and hit him. But, Brown hit him first, and the evidence does show that. But, it's always the second person that does it that gets caught. He's suspended the game, so you don't have a Deron Payne anchoring that defense that they really need somebody in that running game to do. And so this is going to be really crazy game. I got to get up early. I'm not happy about it. This game's a 6:30 start. In my time zone, a 7:30, 6:30 start in my time zone. So I'm not happy about having to get up to watch this game, but I will because I'm still a fan.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if they can win this game, they gotta figure out a way to stop the run. They can solidify that. They can stop the run. I feel like I don't know if they can stop the passing game though. That's because if they can't take one of the two is going to go off.
Well, you got to get the Tua. You got to get the Tua. That's the only thing. You got to get pressure on him. If you can get pressure on him, he can make a lot of bad decisions with the ball. Inaccurate throws, bad decisions with the ball. This team, we were just talking about this team 3 weeks ago, man, and they were about to fire the coach, McDaniel, right? They were in total disarray. So, this team is not.
But they're mustering up some gumption, whatever it is. They came together to try to get these wins that they've been getting. I'm surprised they got these wins, the Miami Dolphins. So it's going to be an interesting game to see y'all play because I feel like you said, H.M. might go off for 200. 200.
Man, that's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. All right, we're going to wrap up our show on this Veterans Day. Thank everybody for watching. This has been the Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie Washington and Tony Robinson. You guys have a good night. See you next week. Enjoy the games this weekend.
Come alive, 2 ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive. Friends and fans, uniting with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. Chasing the highlights, where dreams come alive. 2 ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive. Friends and fans, united with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. We treasure the legends, those who paved our way. In every single chapter, we're here to stay, breaking down plays.